2 of our investigation of the orgy of greed and recklessness that drove the world into financial collapse. Only now are the hard questions being asked. Only now are the key players being held to account. In this hour, how the financial tsunami swept the world. The renegade executive who nearly destroyed the global financial system.
Nobody knew just how big a casino AIG was running.
And the Treasury Secretary who bailed out his old friends.
The biggest welfare check in history had been paid to Wall Street.
Behind closed doors, world leaders are at each other's throats.
The reaction of the Europeans was very aggressive, very accusatory.
Iceland is stabbed in the back by an old ally. Meltdown, the secret history of the global financial collapse. Sometime during the night of September 17th, 2008, the world financial system went into cardiac arrest. The failure of Lehman Brothers, the largest bankruptcy in U.S. history, had sent financial markets into a tailspin. The New York Stock Exchange had its biggest one-day drop since the 9/11 attack. Markets from London and Paris to Shanghai fell in lockstep. Russia suspended all trading. In an epidemic of fear, the world's major banks stopped lending money and accepting collateral from each other. The next morning, at precisely 10:15 a.m., President George W. Bush stepped out of the Oval Office to try and reassure the public.
The American people are concerned about the situation in our financial markets. I've canceled my travel today to stay in Washington and consult with my economic advisors.
Bush convened that emergency meeting in the White House Roosevelt Room. According to notes, U.S. Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson told the president that the United States was on the edge of a total financial meltdown. He said, "If we don't act boldly, we could be in a depression deeper than the Great Depression." Paulson had also warned, "This is the financial equivalent of war, and we're going to need wartime powers."
There was a moment, I think, in this country where, at least for several days, the de facto president of the United States, actually, was not President Bush, but it was an unelected gentleman from Wall Street named Hank Paulson.
Over the last 2 years, Hank Paulson has been summoned before numerous congressional investigations of the meltdown. Everyone realizes that the ruthless former CEO of Goldman Sachs played the leading role, and everyone wants to know why he did what he did. He was supposed to be the main free enterpriser in the Bush administration, but he ended up overseeing the greatest government intervention in the economy since the Great Depression. All investigations go back to his key decision in September 2008, the decision to allow Lehman Brothers to fail. In the White House on that Monday, Hank Paulson seemed almost flippant about the catastrophic bankruptcy.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I hope you all had an enjoyable weekend. Yeah.
He said that it was not the role of government to save private businesses.
I never once considered that it was appropriate to put taxpayer money on the line in resolving Lehman Brothers.
Not saving them is a little bit like saying, well, we're not going to put the fire out in your house because you caused the fire because you were smoking in bed. And the guy who lives next door will say, well, that's great for me when my house goes too because you're trying to teach this guy a lesson.
The Lehman failure had repercussions around the world. Millions of people would lose their life savings. Pension plans were